Welcome back again, Algebra 2, Copper Canyon. So now I'm going to show you some examples of how to use the unit circle to answer questions. This is from 9.3 again. So main thing here is I am going to send all of you guys a unit circle copy. It is going to be your lifesaver, so if you can, print it out. If not, keep it on standby on your phone. So this is what I'm going to be sending all of you. I've already color coded it, so you are welcome. But this is what I'm going to be sending you guys. It's basically the unit circle already filled out. You can see that I've got some color coding going on, and I'll explain why it's color coded here in a few minutes. But let's talk about just basics. So you can see that you've already got all your angles, not only the degree angle, but you've also got the radian angle listed right next to it. So I've already given you this stuff. Your job is just getting used to where it's at. Like, hey, here's 30 degrees. That's the same as pi over 6. You've also got all the x and y values here. Remember, x is your cosine value and y is your sine value. And so in a lot of the questions, they're going to ask you guys where those are at. Okay, so let's go ahead and start some examples. I've already got a lot set up, but these are very easy to answer. You just have to know how to use this. So let's go ahead and try a few examples here. So example 1, use the unit circle to find the values of the requested values, and I've got 6 of them. Sounds like a lot, but to be honest, this is very easy to do because you're just pulling the answer off of this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. They want us to find the sine value of 5 pi over 6. First of all, you have to remind yourself which one is sine. Is sine the x value or the y value? If you remember what I said in the last YouTube video, think of the alphabet. X first, then y. C first, then S, to help you kind of keep track. So if you're looking for the sine value, okay, that is the y value, because C would be the first one, which is the x value, and sine is the second value, which would be the y value. So right here, they're actually asking us to find the y value. Okay, so they want us to find the y value there. Now, 5 pi over 6, that's kind of hard for you guys, I know, but again, if you just look, 5 pi over 6 is actually right here, and if you want, you could actually write the equivalent. It's actually the same as 150 degrees. Tomato, tomato, guys. It really doesn't matter if you actually have the radian or if you have the degree measure. It's the same spot. Okay, so 5 pi over 6, we've already established. Here's 5 pi over 6, which is the same as 150 degrees. Now here's the important part. Here are the coordinates. So is my answer a negative square root of 3 over 2, or is my answer 1/2? Remember, they're asking us for the sine value, and I just said sine is the second value. It's the y value. So the y value at this point is 1/2. So my answer to that question is a whopping 1 over 2. Bam, done. No calculation needed, just being able to read it off of here. Pretty simple. Okay, so let's try another one. This one is cosine. So now that we've just done a sine one, finding cosine should kind of trigger some like, oh, okay, well, if sine was y, then cosine must be, okay, now I'm looking for the x coordinate, but they gave you a different radian measure. So hopefully you're getting used to things on the unit circle by now, but pi over 3 is right here. Here's pi over 3, and that is equivalent to 60 degrees, okay? So again, tomato, tomato, doesn't really matter if you're using radian measure or degree measure. They're all here. So it might be a little challenging for you guys to get used to where they're at, but once you do, pretty simple. All right, so here we go. Going back to the location. So here is pi over 3, aka 60 degrees, same thing. So here are your coordinates. Your x coordinate is 1/2, and your y coordinate is square root of 3 over 2. But again, remind yourself, this particular question asked you for the cosine value. Cosine is C, so that's the first coordinate. Okay, so x is the first coordinate, cosine is the first value there. So 1/2 is your cosine value at that particular point. So our answer here, boom, 1/2. Now, one of the things that definitely threw students off in the past is them saying, wait, miss, how can that be 1/2 and that one be 1/2? It just doesn't make sense. How can they have the same answer? Because remember, you have several special right triangles here, and you actually have a 30, 60, 90 twice. 30 degrees pops up here and 30 degrees pops up here. So it makes sense that you're going to have a lot of repeated values. Do not freak out. That is normal. Okay? It's going to happen. You're going to have a lot of the same answers and think you're wrong, but you're actually doing things correctly. All right, let's jump over to another one. So sine 7 pi pi over 4. 7 pi over 4. So 7 pi over 4, if you're kind of dancing around, boom, 7 pi over 4 right here in the fourth quadrant, right? This is quadrant 4. So 7 pi over 4 is the same as 315 degrees, okay? But remember, they're asking us for the sine. So once again, we want the y value at 315 degrees. So let's go back to the unit circle and say, hey, what is that answer? So 7 pi over 4 is right here. That's 315 degrees. And I want the sine value. Sine is the y coordinate. So y coordinate is the second value. So that's right here. Notice it has a negative in front of it. So this is negative square root of 2 over 2. And that is your answer for that one. Like I said, the nice thing about this particular lesson is there's not a lot of calculations going on. Just knowing how to read this is key. All right, so this one's pretty easy. Hopefully by now you've memorized this one because you should have. So cosine is my first value. C comes first in the alphabet, right? So that's my x value. And then pi. You should all remember pi because we talked about it in the last lesson. Pi is the same as 180 degrees. You should have memorized that by now. So 180 is way over here on the side. There you go, pi and 180, boom, same spot. But here are your coordinates. You want the cosine value. Cosine is the x value. So the first value there is a whopping -1. And so that is your answer here, boom, -1. Pretty simple, right? Now, on these first examples that I did, notice that I used sine and cosine only, but you also will run into some problems that say tangent. Tangent is no big deal. In fact, especially since I'm giving you this, I've already pre-worked out your tangent values for you. So take a quick look here on this sheet that I'm going to send you all. So I went ahead and wrote all the tangents for you. I put them all in blue, and they're actually right behind the coordinates on all the unit circles. So see right here? These are your tangent values right here that are kind of scribbled in with some blue highlights. So again, it's just a matter of reading it. Can you find it on the unit circle? So here we go. Tangent 11 pi over 6. 11 pi over 6 on here is actually the same as 330. So let me switch my colors up here. So this is 330 degrees. Not that you need to know that, but I think it's important for you guys to understand, like, oh, how did you find that, or why is that? So here's 11 pi over 6 in the fourth quadrant right here. You can see that it does say 330 degrees. Now here's the thing. Yes, these are our x and y coordinates, but tangent is actually y divided by x. And it gets a little messy, so I went ahead and worked them out for you. If you did y divided by x, you would end up with this fraction right here. Negative square root of 3 over 3. And so that right there, this blue value, is your tangent there. So yes, a little different, but I'm actually giving you all the information you need. You just, once again, need to know how to use this unit circle. You will be allowed to use this on your test. All right, the last one, another tangent, tangent pi over 2. Pi over 2 is actually 90 degrees. Okay, so that should be easiest for us to find. 90 degrees is right here at the top angle. There's a pi over 2, there's a 90. But look at the blue circle there. This doesn't even have a number. That means tangent at pi over 2, where 90 degrees, is actually undefined. That's because if you do 1 divided by 0, your calculator has a hissy fit. That doesn't make sense. So that is one of the very few values where the function is undefined. And you can just write U and D for undefined. Okay?